Hey everyone, Rob here from Gunfather Milsim. Today I'm going to talk about toxicity in airsoft, why it's killing our sport, and what we can do to fix it. Now, it's kind of a touchy subject. Everybody kind of complains about it online, but I'm going to try to have a different take on it that I can think can actually be productive in the conversation. Now, a few weeks ago, I was playing a local Sunday pickup game at my local field, and what was otherwise would have been a pretty good day of airsoft was quickly tarnished by a bunch of bad attitudes on both sides. Started getting ugly. People started saying, "No, you're not calling your hit." We've all seen these bad attitudes, and eventually, out of frustration, players on both sides actually just packed up their crap and went home. They just quit, rage quit. So being at this game, I found it very frustrating because there were guys on my team who were pointing out, "Oh, this guy's not calling his hits," or "This guy's doing this violation," or whatever. And as a player, I wasn't seeing what they were seeing. I was shooting at the same guys they were. I wasn't having any problems. And I noticed as more people started saying, "Hey, call your hit," or "Hey, you're not playing by the rules here," or "You're violating the medic rules," or whatever. The more I heard it over here, the more I heard it coming back at us over there. And all of a sudden, it became almost contagious how quickly the morale of the day just fell apart because somebody had a perception that someone was cheating and they started voicing it over everybody else in the game. And they started going back and forth, and it quickly fell apart. And like I said, shortly thereafter, people just started rage quitting and just leaving the field. I never saw any of it. Never saw any violation whatsoever. Understand that morale in an airsoft game, the perception on both sides, is a fragile thing. Okay, and either it stays good the whole time or it can quickly go to shit. We're our own worst enemies in that respect. The only thing you should say to another player is when you get hit is, "Hey, great shot." That's it. "Hey, great shot." If you shoot at someone and you don't think they're calling their hit, keep shooting at them until they do call their hit. Most of the time, you're not hitting them. And I mean 95% of the time you're not hitting them. Or they genuinely can't feel it. Okay? But there is no benefit to calling out, "You call your hit, call your hit, call your hit." That is the ugliest thing you can say because one, you're probably wrong. They probably just can't feel it or you're not hitting them. Two, what it does to the morale for the whole game is really ugly. Three, other players don't remember that person you're talking about. All they remember is your bad attitude. All they remember is you were the one that was calling people out and you were the one being the toxic player. Can't have that in the sport. I think what it all comes down to, the driving force behind all this toxicity, is two things. One, players taking themselves too seriously. Two, the social media of what is a popular airsoft video. Now, the first one, players taking themselves too seriously. My background is in fighting. Okay, before I was a cop, SWAT guy, and long before I was an airsoft player, I was a fighter. I did mostly Muay Thai and boxing and kickboxing, but I fought for many years, like 20 years. That's all I did was fight. That's why I'm so pretty. That's why I look the way I do. And being a great fighter at the local level, in your own city or in your own gym, is something very different than being a great fighter at the national or international level. Okay. Being a big fish in a small pond is easy. Being the best fighter in your city or at your gym, really not that hard. And you can get the misconception that you're more talented at fighting than you really are. Once you get into the bigger pond that is, national or even international competitions, the more people you're going to meet that are better fighters than you because you're pulling from a larger pool of fighters. So the thing about fighting is it's one of those sports where it's pretty obvious when you lose. It's pretty obvious when somebody else is better than you at it. Yes, there are close matches and it comes down to the judges and people can bitch and moan and say, "Yeah, I got robbed by the judges." But for the most part, it's usually pretty obvious who the better fighter is. Okay? Now let's compare that to airsoft. In airsoft, there's not an obvious winner and an obvious loser most of the time. We don't have referees and judges and honestly people getting knocked out showing us who the better player is. And it's really easy when you just play your local games at your local field to get the misconception that perhaps you're a lot better at this stuff than you really are. Okay? If all you do is stay at your local field and beat up on rentals all day, it's easy to think, "Man, I'm really shit hot at this airsoft stuff." Well, it's easy to shoot people who don't know how to use cover, don't know how to communicate, don't know how to be in formation. Real easy to do, especially once you're local field and you know the field and they don't. It gets a lot harder as you move up the chain into that bigger pool, whether it be a regional op or even a national level op, where you go to those levels of the game and everybody there pretty much knows how to play, knows how to use cover, knows how to communicate, and they know the range of their gun. Makes a huge difference. Then you're going to go from, let's say at your local field, you're used to having a 3-to-1 kill to death ratio, and all of a sudden you're at a 1-to-1 kill to death ratio, or even less than that. Why? Because you're playing better players who know how to use cover and know how to play the game. There's many levels of good at this. I think a lot of players invest entirely too much of their ego into their performance at this sport. And the sport, at the end of the day, is grown men playing tag with plastic BBs. It's a lot of fun. Obviously, I enjoy it. But you got to be real about what you're doing out here. And there's nothing, and I mean nothing in this sport, worth getting upset about. Not a thing. So in my opinion, that's where a lot of this toxicity comes from. It comes from players who are used to being absolutely shit hot at their local field and nigh untouchable, and all of a sudden they go to a regional op or even a national level op and they're getting destroyed, or it's a 1-to-1 kill to death ratio, and they just can't possibly accept that maybe I'm not as good at this stuff as I thought I was. Maybe these guys are better than me. So unlike fighting, where there's not a convenient excuse, in Airsoft we have the ever-present convenient excuse of that person's not calling their hit, that person's violating this rule, that person's violating that rule. Instead of just taking ownership of the fact of, maybe I'm not as good at this stuff as I thought, maybe I need to learn from my failures, maybe I need to work on any number of skill sets here to make me a better player. And I think that's what's really missing from our sport, is that humility of saying, maybe I'm not as good at this shit as I thought I was, because we do have that convenient excuse that we can always have that perception of, oh, he's just not calling his hit. When in reality, you're not hitting him. You're just not good enough. Here's the other thing. Think about all the YouTube videos you watch related to Airsoft. Which ones are the best ones? Which ones are the ones that get all the clicks and all the views? It's the ones of Airsoft cheater caught on tape, fight at the Airsoft field, or whatever. All the negative, ugly stuff in Airsoft is what kind of gets all the attention. Now, from my perception, and I play quite a bit, I don't see this stuff that often. It's rare that I see that, and I've never even seen a fight at an Airsoft field I've been at. It just doesn't happen. People post these videos because they get lots of clicks, because they get lots of attention. There's two problems with that. One, if you're already involved with the sport, it can give you the perception that these things are more common than they really are. Okay, it can lead you to believing you're seeing hit calling issues when you're not. The bigger problem these videos cause us is for players who aren't even in the game, people who are considering getting involved in the sport. They're searching online to learn about it, and what's the top videos they see? Cheater videos and fights at field videos. And just the ugliest side of the sport is what they see first, because that gets the most hits and that's what gets the most likes. So that's what they're seeing. That's the representation they have for our sport. And they're saying, you know what? What a bunch of idiots. That's an ugly sport. I don't want to be involved with that. It's killing us. Okay? You will never see any video like that on my channel. I don't post that stupid clickbait crap. I don't post the uglier side of our sport. I try to post videos about, gear reviews, gun reviews, and, let's learn some tactics and some skill sets that make us a better player. That's what I like to do on my channel. And I would recommend that when you are, looking through whatever YouTube videos, don't click on the ugly stuff. I don't click on cheater videos. I don't click on fight videos. I don't want to watch them. Because when you engage on those videos, when you comment on them, when you share them, all you're doing is fueling the toxicity and you're fueling the ugliness of this sport. Okay? I would prefer to focus on the positive stuff. So what's the solution? Every one of us needs to be the best ambassador of our sport that we can be. It means play with sportsmanship, be positive, congratulate the guy on the other side of the field. Congratulate the guy when he gets a good hit on you. Hey, good hit. Okay? Be supportive of everybody in the community, not just your own team, not just your own guys on your own team. Okay? And if you think somebody's cheating, if you think they're not calling their hits, keep it to yourself. Bitch about it in private. Keep shooting that guy. Or better yet, take it to a ref. That's what they're there for. But whenever you voice that opinion, it makes you look like the uglier player, and it doesn't help anybody. It just makes the whole day worse for everyone there. That's all I got on toxicity. Basically, it's on us. This is our sport, and we need to take care of it. Or sooner or later, it's going to die out. We're going to lose it. Quick channel announcement. If you like my videos, if you like my content, please like and subscribe, or better yet, support my channel by buying some merchandise. Go to unsavorytees.com, go to Unsavory Army. You'll see a Gunfather Milsim store link there. Go there and look at all the stuff we're selling. Selling patches. I've been selling these for a long time. Also, selling Gunfather 1-point bungee slings. They come in lots of colors. These are obviously red and blue. Also, now we are selling Gunfather Milsim t-shirts. They look like the one I'm wearing right here. Got American flag on the shoulder. Got my logo on the back. Please like, subscribe, and everything else. And thanks for watching.